everyone, this is Dragon Veils. I hope y'all are doing well. Welcome back to my channel. And of course, we are going to do another Hazbin Hotel. I feel like in some ways, the Heaven Council is so deserving of a new makeover because aside from Sarah and Emily being the most capable members of this council, well, unfortunately,
Oh, the idea of going down there for revenge or anything. They did sort of kind of kill my dad a little bit, so maybe? I'm pretty okay with either option, to be honest.
Okay, that doesn't help me. St. Peter?
I just watched the door.
Right.
I'm sorry, Abel. I love you, but I feel like you're not just ready for this yet. And right now, Heaven really needs some leaders, capable leaders, that can handle this. So for this video, I'm going to go over possible sinners and what they could play into the future council that Sarah might set up later in the seasons to come. I feel like there are still some capable members that could really help turn the concepts in Heaven's Foundation around. And also be warned, there can be some spoilers in this, so without further ado, let's begin.
An expert, but yes, I'm happy to help. You can't be here now. This is important. Only the highest angels can.
Well, I'm as high as you, and I say he stays.
Best to kick this off with, well, one sinner that's already started this whole new revolution. Sir Pentious himself. Granted, Charlie was the one who originally came up with the idea of a concept, but Sir Pentious was the one who first ever changed Sarah's mind, as well as the fact that he was able to reach Sarah in a way that no one else in Heaven could. She related to him in even something that Sarah could never imagined. Sir Pentious knew what it was like to be afraid and be a coward, and the difficulties of overcoming those said fears, which is why he understood of how Sarah felt in that moment in episode 7. Not only that, but he's the only sinner so far who has some understanding of how hell works. And while, like he said, he wasn't a hell expert, but he did understand human emotions above all else. I feel like he's a nice addition to the council because of that understanding. And plus, he also amplified Charlie's teachings in a brand new way that wasn't seen before in season 1. And it does show that some of Charlie's teachings were not in vain and that they were worth giving a shot.
Down anymore. Consider this a declaration of holy war. I've woken up the people to the lies you angels tell. When we pay you a
Okay, yeah, I know this is gonna be painful mentioning him after what happened in season 2, but Vox definitely comes across as someone who has some decent ideas. I mean, granted, we hate to agree with him, especially after what happened in episode 5, but give him credit for that, because he wasn't wrong that Heaven's mistake was definitely something you can't exactly handle in terms of giving fruit baskets to, but at the same time, the way he went about it was all wrong. Going after Heaven was just mostly to impress Alistair and try to fill that void that he's probably been carrying since his life. On top of that, we definitely see that if he ever got his chance to be redeemed, and let's face it, I think the subtle hints that we've been thrown in season 1 and 2 definitely highlight a very good possibility that he'll be redeemed. It definitely will be a very interesting concept in terms of how he's going to handle that redemption. Most likely, he's going to realize that what he's missing was something of vulnerability. He understands what it means to be vulnerable, and we've seen that he does have a good eye for detail of certain skills. I mean, ironically enough, Sir Pentious's redemption started with Vox, and in some ways, his insights of understanding people's pasts and backstories, he could in some ways help filter out the souls that are worthy of redemption in heaven, as well as add more complications to that said system and make it a little easier for heaven to really think about how they handle their souls.
No. Unacceptable. You're fired. What is this? Wrist ruffles? Is it 1750? Burn it like the witches who wore it.
Oh, Velvet, I can see you're busy.
Now, this might be a shocker to a lot of people of why I would include Velvet on the list. Mostly because Velvet has an eye for the here and now. She lives in the present. She knows what people want. That's what makes her a great social media overlord. She knows what people are in terms in trends and in terms of opinions. So she would definitely be someone who would help with Heaven's opinions and modify them in terms of how they should be handled properly, as well as when it comes to a sense of morality. As far as we got in terms of her screen time, it does feel like she is a loyal friend to Vox and Valentino and wants nothing more than to help them up whenever possible. The drawback for her is that she doesn't know when to be respectful when the situation calls for it. She can be too brash for her own good, and I feel like Vaggie, she has a tendency of guarding herself. She doesn't like to show her true self to other people or show that vulnerability compared to possibly Fox or Valentino. And now that there's this Melissa relationship put into the picture and everyone's talking about it, it could also come into play. I also feel like, well, there isn't a lot in terms of foreshadowing, though there was an old design of angels put in there that is eerily similar to Velvet's own design, currently speaking. That does raise some potential that she might develop to be an angel, and maybe in some ways, her opinions can help form more of a serious foundation for heaven, and like Husk, put some more seriousness into considering who should go to heaven or to hell.
Fresh fire that's burning my soul.
I'll get heaven behind my plans. There's just no way I could blow it. Not this once in a lifetime chance.
It'd be crazy not to include the main character, and I feel like there are subtle hints that she'll become an angel in future seasons thanks to the little shenanigans that Angel has been throwing up on her with the horns and the bunny ears against her back, which could be angel wings. And of course, there's a slight hint where there's head counselor on her name tag towards the end of the episode. So, I feel like in a lot of ways, she can play a very vital role in the new council for heaven. She does have good ideas, and she definitely embodies more of heaven's morals more than Adam himself, which is very cruel irony considering the fact that she's supposed to be the princess of hell. She wants to rise above. She wants to perform acts of mercy, things that make her more of angelic in many ways than one. What she's struggling with is just learning to listen to others, letting her own ego to be pushed aside a bit, letting go of her hyperfixations, and then, of course, there's also her learning of how to handle her empathy better. It's not that she isn't capable of being compassionate, it's just the way she handles it isn't exactly communicated well towards the people. As far as we can see, she isn't much. Okay, so she is kind of a hypocrite, but not on the same level as Adam and Lute are. Hers is just more of understanding her own struggles and being more self aware of what her decisions can help or destroy somewhere down the lines, and recognizing that not everyone can change, but she is slowly losing the naivety somewhere down the lines. It's just going to take her a while, and with season 3 coming in, it'll be interesting to see of how her role with Heaven is going to play further when Lilith comes onto the scene. But again, I do feel like she's going to shake the foundations of Heavens in more ways than maybe we can't predict right now.
He'd be powerless without the other bees.
Please.
And here's the sugar on the cream. He asked me to join his team. I said no, and now he's pissy. That's the tea.
You all
I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some weird looks and possibly some crazy comments over this section of the video. Yes, I know Alistair's still going to be Sinner, and it has been alluded, thanks to Viv, that he's going to be a antagonist for season 3. However, I feel like he has the potential of adding some help to this council. Part of it's because this one particular Sinner in No One Like You, it probably is similar to that of Alistair, which could hint some form of foreshadowing. While he has far less redeemable qualities, the one thing that makes him capable is not only his mannerisms and that he can able to withhold his tongue long enough to actually create some tension, or in some cases, handle the situation when needs to be delicate, but at the same time, he has the capability of understanding weaknesses and vices as much as the next person. He also does it in a way where he can't match up with anyone else. Again, this is a bit of a stretch, but considering of what we've seen, what he did with Charlie and helping her set up the cannibal colony, it doesn't change the fact that he does have some capabilities of backing up a situation when needed to be.
And, it was nice to have that power. But when you're dealing in souls, while also being a gambler, the stakes are pretty high.
Husk is definitely one who is not Mr. Sugarcoat. He says what comes to his mind no matter who or what stands in his way. Though he does need to learn how to be a little subtle with how he handles stuff, it doesn't change that he's that voice of honesty that we need to hear whether we like it or not. And it does help along the lines. He's proven several times that he can be a capable member of this new Heaven Council because of his empathy and his capabilities of listening to other people's problems. And he has a keen way of observing what is missing in other people, the same way Vox does, as well as he knows how to address it in a way where it doesn't feel too patronizing, as we see with Angel here. He still has ways to go until he's fully redeemed, but he does show very high candidacy for redemption at this point.
Baggy, you're out for blood, but you'll only stand a chance if you're out for love, out for love.
So I feel like Carmilla is also another good candidate for Heaven's new council, mostly because, like I said before, she does have some sound advice. Like many of the other characters that we've seen throughout Season 1 and 2 in Hazbin Hotel, she is definitely someone who cuts to the chase and even questions or makes everyone think in terms of, okay, how are things going to get better? How are things going to improve? And plus, she's very well disciplined in her fighting style and is more guarded, as we've seen her help Vaggie fight better when it came to the Exorcist army. And because of her experience in the Exorcist army, she could definitely help amp up Heaven's security in a way that couldn't have been before, or at least make the fighters a little bit more competent when it comes to handling souls that might violate Heaven's regulations, i.e. loot if things definitely go south from there. I could also see her as being someone of part of a defense department that could help ease Sarah's fears, or other angels who have Sarah's fears, right as I said before.
I can't tell.
Oh, Alistair, how fare thee this day?
Who's that, boss?
Now, Zestial I saved best for last, and understandably why. Zestial was practically, while he didn't have a whole lot of screen time, you can tell he plays such an important role, mostly as Camilla's conscience, but at the same time, he does have a potential of taking on a bigger role in future seasons, and I can imagine him being part of Heaven's Council, not only because he's the oldest sinner, but he also has solid wisdom that backs it up. He knows what could go wrong. He knows what strategy has to be taken, and is someone who likes to observe things from afar before taking the actions that are necessary, as we've seen in episode 3. So these are just my thoughts, and I'd like to hear yours. Who do you think deserves to be in Heaven's new council, and what do you think might happen in the future to come in Hazbin Hotel Season 3? This is Dragon Veos, signing off.